Afternoon, everybody. I'm Susan Dange and I'm the CEO of AmCham EU, the American Chamber of Commerce to the EU in Brussels, Belgium. And I'm delighted to be addressing the AmCham Estonia Women in Leadership luncheon. Thank you so much for inviting me. So I was asked, how was my year? How has my year been so far? Well, I can tell you it has been very intense. We've worked very hard. It has been very uncertain. It's been very virtual and very disconnecting and quite worrying. How have we been dealing with that? Well, we've had to be flexible, we've indeed had to work hard, but we've had to be very creative and innovative and come up with all sorts of new ideas. And we've had to learn to deal with this worry and this stress. I mean, the worry, it has been quite considerable for many of us. Whether it's somebody who's had a baby at home, maybe crying in the middle of an important call, the creches have been closed, or whether in my case it's been having adult children who've come home as students and are doing all their exams here online and the internet crashes for everybody. So there have been a lot of stresses and strains. So what would my advice be, or how have I been dealing with stress during this period? I would say 4 things. One is I've really tried to compartmentalize work and non-work, which is difficult when you're working in your own house. Close the door, just stop at a certain time and say enough's enough and give time to your family. Secondly, don't talk about COVID all the time. It can drive people crazy. It's really not good for mental health. Thirdly, exercise. I play tennis, I try to cycle and go for walks, and that really is very helpful for de-stressing and listening to podcasts actually. But fourthly, nature. Very much. Enjoy the nature, get out there, go to the woods, do some tree hugging. It really has certainly helped. So with that, I wish you all the very best. With greetings from Belgium, I wish you good luck and would say be strong, be safe and be kind to everyone. Thank you.
Hello, AmCham Estonia and your guests at the conference. My name is Dorothy Dabrowski, and I'm the Managing Director of the American Chamber of Commerce in Poland. First, I'd like to say I really wish I could be with you in Estonia, and that's one of the lessons I've learned from this pandemic, is that we've taken for granted our neighbors and our neighboring countries, and I always thought I'd go and visit Estonia again anytime, and now I realize that I have to really put that on the agenda once we can travel, because you can't take it for granted. In fact, I think with this pandemic, we're again in lockdown here in Poland. Cases are up for us. Restrictions are high. Restaurants are closed for the next 2 weeks. Kids are mostly back at home schooling. So there are lots of challenges. But I have to say that there are also lots of silver linings. And silver lining is what I see for many of my friends and the families around me. There's hardship for industries like the hotel, restaurant, tourist, and aviation industries, of course. But I think for the average person, as many of you can see, we can stay home a little bit more. We can spend time with our families. We can slow down, which I think is sometimes needed. And so there is that silver lining. In general, I'm not too stressed, and not just because I still have my job, but more because I think there are worse things that could happen than having to stay home, having to wear masks. We all come from countries where our families remember World War II, and that's very close to me here in Warsaw in particular. And, war is tragedy, and what happens during a war is tragedy. Having to stay home and sit on our couches or working at home and dealing with some challenges, those are challenges, but that's not tragedy. So I keep it in perspective, and I really don't have a problem with dealing with what's going on, because there are many, many worse things. In general, Poland tends to do well, so I think we'll get out of this crisis as most crises. Poland does well. The country, the culture has a resilience. There have been many changes, and even just the switch from communism to socialism many years ago. I was an observer straight from the United States, and I was just amazed at how resilient the society was at adjusting to the changes. So here's more challenges, more changes, and you just have to go with the flow. And I think people are tough, and hopefully this ends soon, and we can learn from it and be better from it. And so I wish you all, lots to talk about at the conference. I wish you a great discussions and a good time, and all the best, and hope to see you in Estonia. Bye-bye.
It is an immense honor to address the members and participants of the Women in Leadership event of AmCham Estonia this very special and challenging year. Here in Spain, the pandemic has had an enormous effect, as you may probably know. We had a total lockdown in the country during the first wave in the spring, and we're now in the beginning of a second wave just before entering the winter. The impact in Spain, where tourism is one of the cornerstones of our economy, representing more than 14% of our GDP, it's of course devastating. The world has changed probably forever. This pandemic has disrupted everything. The way we work, the way we socialize, and the way we make decisions. So very challenging times for the economy, for our country, for our members and our chamber. Operating and planning with these levels of uncertainty is not easy. It generates tension and stress, but being optimistic is essential. We must adapt, be flexible, and find new ways of doing things again. And I have no doubt that our member companies and organizations like the AmCham network will do so. Best of luck to all of you, and warm regards to my dear colleague and friend, Daria Sibobol.
Hi, let me send you greetings from Slovenia, the only country in the world that has love in the name. And love is something that we need more than ever, even in leadership. Love, compassion, empowering each other, and of course listening and hearing each other. These are the things that I try to introduce not only to my leadership, but also to my life more than ever. I want to introduce that with my friends, with my family, and also with politicians and decision makers when I talk with them. Because this is what we need. Do I feel anxiety and stress? Yeah, I do. But how to manage that? It's not easy. What I do is I play tennis, I run, and I breathe. In and out. And this is something what we need to do. We should not forget about ourselves. And like business community, I think that now is the time to be more connected, and we try to empower each other. And this is what I would like to send to you, empowerment. Please stay safe and healthy.
Greetings from Istanbul, Turkey. 2020 has been a tough year, both professionally and personally, as we're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. For Turkey, solidarity and cooperation between the US and Turkey have grown stronger during the pandemic. The trade volume increased by 5% in comparison to the previous year. The COVID-19 pandemic has further elevated the importance of discussing mental health. That's why today's important meeting is welcomed by our side as well. Personally, I try to keep my routine and spend more time with my children, and I try to do more activities in nature, like camping, to overcome stress and general anxiety about the future.
Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Pasternak-Jackson. I am the CEO of AmCham Finland, and it is a great pleasure to be here with you wonderful women of AmCham Estonia today. Thank you so much to Daria for inviting me to offer some thoughts from Finland. Along with those thoughts, I also bring our community's best regards to yours in these incredible times we're living in. So in preparation of talking to you guys about challenges, leadership, and mental health, I did a quick poll of some of our women CEOs in our membership. And by and large, they said that there were two things that were on the top of their priority list when considering those three words and themes. First is business continuity, supply chain continuity, really making sure that you have that down pat by engaging with your suppliers, your vendors, your clients on a regular basis. And, you know, I think we all really doubled down on that in the spring. And the difference between the spring and the fall is that early in the spring, we thought, maybe this will be over by the fall. Maybe the COVID era will end by Christmas. Now we know that we're in for an indefinite future. So the discussions around business continuity now are about how can we transform what we're doing or the way we're doing it to really yield long-term future positive results. And the second thing actually is mental health. I mean, it is the mental and physical health of your employees. If your employees are not thriving, then they can't give your business their best foot forward. They can't give it their all. And so, you know, looking at how can we make this situation better for employees. Some thrive at working in a home environment. Some really miss going to the office. And so there really isn't a turnkey solution, a silver bullet. It's much more about what individual solutions work in this era. And to sort of round out, we also on the team reflected a little bit about what does it take to thrive in this COVID era as a female leader, and what are some of the things that we are doing that help us put our best foot forward. And we came up with a few things to us. First of all, really harnessing the power of the network and relationship building. I think nothing motivates you more than when you're actually in touch with your vendors, in touch with your clients, your customers, in our case, our members, your stakeholders. And since you can't just run into people at a cocktail party anymore or attend the same event, you really have to get proactive about it. But I found calling people and checking in with them to be so rewarding, and it really lays the seeds for future relationship success. And also I think it's good for mental health, remembering we're not alone in this, we're together in this, and we're just a phone call or a Teams meeting or an email away, and we should take full advantage of that. The other thing I wanted to touch upon that's helped build our own resilience is the importance of growth mindset. I think most of us in this room or wherever you're sitting, in your office, at home, in a cafe with headphones, are familiar with the concept of growth mindset. If you're not, I warmly recommend you look into it. But it's a muscle. So actively doing exercises that promote it, having conversations about how can we turn this challenge into something positive. Your thinking can create your results. And I really think that, if we're all approaching these challenges with a more positive outlook, looking at concrete changes we can make to take advantage of these opportunities, and being brave enough to take advantage of these opportunities, then, we will go far. We will come out of this much, much stronger. And then lastly, I want to say making time for self-care. One of my mottos is be brave and be kind. And I try to be brave and kind in all of the business decisions I make, but that also includes being kind to yourself. If your tank is running on empty as a leader, you cannot give to others. And I think depending on what stage in your leadership development you are, you can go into these stages of giving your all at work, giving your all in your professional development, giving your all at home. Maybe you're a daughter, a sister, a wife, a mother. There are a lot of roles that we women play. So this is just a friendly reminder that it's okay to take care of yourself. It's encouraged to take care of yourself. And if you're looking for different ways to do that, that's what checking in with your fellow women leaders is all about, sharing ideas and stories and encouraging each other. So I just wanted to say on a personal note that I've always felt also, reaching out, just as I said, reaching out and sharing ideas with Daria has been so valuable for me as my colleague in Estonia. And I think you guys feel the same way about the AmCham community and each other. So I just want to wish you a wonderful continuation and to say we're in this with you, and there's a bright future ahead, and we'll get there together. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.